Season 5, Episode 12, The Stop Show. One of my favorite moments this episode is the conversation Diane and Stefani have about content creation. Diane is grappling with and coming to terms with the things she's done this season, and maybe even over the course of the entire show. She says, "I'm a hypocrite. I'm miserable and I make other people miserable. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't be a trusted news source or an authority or a role model for anybody." And Stefani is like, "No one called you a role model. You know what your problem is? You hold everyone to an impossible standard, including yourself. It's super helpful for writing hot take shakedowns and clickbait takedowns, but totally toxic for your personal life and internalized sense of self-worth." And Diane's like, "But shouldn't we be asking more of ourselves and of the people in our lives?" And Stefani says, "Of course, but we all fail, Diane. The world is unforgiving enough as it is. The least we could do is find ways to forgive each other and ourselves." And so then Diane says, "Well, then maybe we should be more forgiving in our content and maybe not publish so many takedowns." And Stefani's just like, "Oh, Diane." And I just find that so humorous and painful in the larger context of the show. This really sets the scene for the big finale.
Something I love about those two twins, the assistant and the adoption lady, is that I think an inferior show would have used this joke as a one episode thing. This by joke I mean this like humorous situation. The fact that this show used two characters that have been established already in the show for several episodes and even seasons. The assistant has been here for a while at this point, and have it build up to a point where it is revealed to the audience that they're twins, I think is very masterful. It's not, because it could definitely be used as such a minor joke, but it is just even funnier, and the fact that it's taken this long for it to be revealed to us this way. I just think that's really creative.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's an occurrence of them pointing to the fact that they're being explicit about everything in this season. And showing them as twins, it's saying, look, we surrounded Princess Carolyn with these archetypes. This is a choice that we've making. What? Is making a word?
Making?
Making.
No, it's not a word.
This is a choice that we've made. I think the scene where Todd kills the robot, then rips his suit off and says, "It's all over now," before walking away is so powerful here. That's one of my favorite moments in this season.
It's also like, it's so powerful, but also it's so ridiculous, right? Like, yeah. I think that's what really adds to it. It's this guy created such an absurd robot, and the whole storyline of the robot is ridiculous. Like, it's basically what Todd has been living for the past 5 seasons, right? But now we get to see a robot go through it, and Todd be a businessman this season. And Todd killing his own invention, which you could say he's also killing that invention he made of himself to present to others, the businessman, because he walks away by ripping off his suit and becoming Todd again. It's so creative how like you grab an incredibly ridiculous moment and turn it to such a powerful moment.
So at the end of this episode, we have Bojack going to rehab. Diane is dropping him off, and then she's driving away.
Yeah, I actually remember when season 5 ended and before season 6 came out, there was this fan theory going on saying that Diane was going to die in the next season, or, something bad would happen to her, because this season had a reference of Diane being Princess Diana. And we all know what happened to Princess Diana in a tunnel. And the season ending with Diane driving into a tunnel. It just felt like very clear. I don't know. A lot of people had it wasn't very far-fetched to think that, something bad's going to happen to Diane. So it was just a funny thing that never actually ended up becoming anything of, but it was a fun little time in the internet.
Yeah, no, I wonder if the writers did intend for that to happen, but then they decided Diane was too important to kill off for season 6, so they ended up not going through with it. I don't know.
I think at the time that would have been like I would have considered that, but based off of interviews I've heard from the writers and things, I don't think it was ever a plan.
Okay,
But
they
it
just
was-
wanted people to think that. Maybe.
Maybe it wasn't intentional, but
Yeah.
it was kind of funny.
So now we're going to talk about some general things that we noticed that we think might be good for writers to know. So this show has a lot of different species that have been anthropomorphized, but it doesn't always treat that anthropomorphization process in the same way. Something that I've noticed throughout is that anytime there's a choice between accuracy or humor, they choose humor.
For the most part, in the day-to-day, they're treated like humans. Up until there's a point where humor can come into play. So if there's a situation where a bird flying would make it funny, the bird's going to fly. But if it's not funny, it's going to be like they're going to act like humans pretty much. There's an example where this is a little bit of a dark example. It's humorous, but it's also dark humor, where Bojack is consoling a bird mother who had just pushed her baby off the window because the supposedly like mother birds do in our universe. That's how they teach their children how to fly. But the bird wasn't ready, so it died in Bojack's world. I hadn't noticed this entirely, but apparently the writers of Bojack have a rule about the F word. There's only one occasion of the F word being used per season. And what that does is you as a writer, you're giving yourself a rule set and you're having to write around it. So now anytime that the F word is used, that one time per season, it's going to be extremely powerful because this isn't language that is commonly used in the show. So I don't know. I think it's a really good thing to as a writer to give yourself these kind of like frames or rule sets, boundaries,
yeah.
Exactly, to possibly push your writing to like a whole new level. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just make every iteration of the F word count.
Yeah.
So that it has the maximum impact instead of just being like another word.
Exactly, because it is very common to see people now just swear for the sake of swearing, but if it's actually going to be used economically, every time it's used, it's going to be powerful.
Yeah. And especially with a character like Bojack, I think it would be very believable if he was cursing all the time. So it's
Right.
cool that they decided to set that boundary. And that's a wrap on our Bojack Horseman Season 5 analysis. Thanks so much for joining us. Be on the lookout for more discussions in the future, and maybe drop a comment to let us know what you'd like to see us cover next. See you next time.